Hey everybody, and welcome to What You Didn't Know About Dota 2. I'm your host, Fantasign, and I'm going to teach you about Bane. The first thing that we'll look at is Brain Set, and that's because there's nothing really special about it. It just does damage and heals you for the same amount. The only remarkable thing is that the heal amount will not change depending on the damage amount. It will always heal you for the same 300. And next up we have Fiend's Grip, which is the same thing, nothing really special. Just one note, if you get pulled away from your target while you're Fiend's Gripping them, as long as you're not disabled, you will actually keep Fiend's Gripping the target. So if I Fiend's Grip this Necrophos, and then I get hooked away, it will keep Fiend's Gripping him, even though I'm on the other side of the map. And keep in mind, there's a lot of ways that you can do this, but most of them will not work. Like, for example, Keeper of the Light's Recall actually will cancel your channeling spells. So, as you see, it cancels early. So there's only a few things in the game that can end up actually causing this, and one of them is a friendly Pudge hooking you. Because friendly Pudge's hooks will not disable you, but an enemy Pudge's hook will disable you, as you can see here. The third ability I'm going to show you is Enfeeble. Only really special thing about this is when you choose the level 15 and 20 talent. Because Enfeeble can only affect a unit once, if I hit this Kunkka multiple times, he still only loses 220 damage. But when you have the talent, it steals damage. So what you can do is hit multiple enemies, and you'll steal damage for each enemy affected. And now I deal 1000 damage. Of course, in normal Dota, you'll only be able to affect 2 or 3 enemies at a time, so it's not going to be that fantastic. But maybe you'll get a refresher orb on Bane. I don't know. And then Bane's fourth and final ability is the reason that I'm doing this episode. And that's because this is my favorite ability in the game. Well, what about Nightmare is exciting? It's just a 7-second sleep, right? It does nothing special. Just puts them to sleep, and then when they take damage, they wake up. Well, that's what you would think. But there's actually a couple aspects of Nightmare that make it really, really exciting. And some of these are very recent in the game. The first one is that Nightmare can be activated, and you can disable it whenever you want by pressing the button again. This is especially important because if a unit attacks a Nightmare unit, it will refresh and go back to the original duration. Which means that if a unit keeps refreshing it over and over again, it will go on forever. Another important aspect of this is that Nightmare is activated at the start of an attack and not the end of attack. This means if an enemy is beginning to attack you, they will be instantly slept, and they won't be able to get their attack off. And then the final aspect of the very boring part of this is that you can use it really, really easily to help your teammates escape. If they're being auto-attacked and they need to run away, you can activate this, deactivate it, and then all of the units that are attacking him will instantly stop attacking him. So, what happens when you activate Nightmare is any units that are auto-attacking that unit will cancel their orders. See, these guys have to force an attack in order to attack him now. So what I can do is Nightmare him while he's being chased, and then I can un-Nightmare him, and now he has a chance to blink out. This becomes especially useful in regular Dota play, because most people, unlike the bots, will have auto-attack turned off. So if this person's being chased by 2 enemies, and then I run him away, I run him away, I run him away, actually farther than that, and I Nightmare him, and cancel the Nightmare immediately, all the units will stop auto-attacking him. Except for right now, because the bots have auto-attack enabled. But you get the idea. And here's where the really interesting stuff starts to happen. First off, let's get through the basics. I already taught you about how the sleep works, but there's a little important aspect right here. Just like any other sleep, if the unit takes damage, then it cancels it. But Bane is allowed to auto-attack the units. And this is contrary to all of the other rules we've learned about Nightmare previously. So that enables a couple cool things where you can Nightmare someone, and then you can just hit them while you're waiting for your team to arrive. Or, if you get Enfeeble, you can Nightmare someone, Enfeeble them, and then you can kill pretty much any support in the late game. Or in laning phase, if somebody's walking under a tower and you need to get a kill, and say they're low on health, you can just Nightmare them and get the last couple hits off to finish them off. So that's the basics of Nightmare. What gets really interesting is Nightmare's special secondary aspect. If you hold Alt, it will show you that in the first second of Nightmare, the unit is invulnerable. Now, you would just think that's 100% damage reduction, right? Well, that's not necessarily true. Invulnerable is a completely different keyword in Dota. So, if you get an item like Manta Style, and then you cast your Manta Style, you become invulnerable for that special 2-second gap. Or, sorry, that's not 2 seconds. That's 0.1 seconds. So, that's a very, very small time. But that has a really special aspect where you can dodge certain spells, like Axe's Berserker's Call.
Forward.
And what's really special about Nightmare is that it's an entire second of invulnerability. And unlike the 0.1 seconds of invulnerability, this gives you a lot of opportunities. Now, not only does this make the hero actually invincible, it also allows you to dodge a multitude of spells. Pudge's Hook, for example, cannot hit invulnerable units. This is something you can never see when you use Manta Style. And that's because the duration of Manta Style is simply not enough to dodge the hook. But when you extend that duration to 1 full second, it allows really, really easy dodging of hooks. And other spells. This allows really cool scenarios where if you see a Pudge blinking in and trying to hook your teammate, then you can save them with just a little bit of reaction time. And this further extends the ability to save your teammates when they're being chased that we talked about before. Not only can you save them when they're about to die, while they're being chased by a bunch of units auto-attacking, but say if a unit casts a really, really deadly spell, like Ghost Ship, then you can Nightmare your teammate, and it dodges the stun and the damage. It's extremely, extremely powerful. And there's just a few key spells that you can dodge with Invulnerability that I'd really like to showcase here. One that I've already showed you is Berserker's Call. Keep in mind this is really hard to do on Bane because the Berserker's Call cast time is much shorter than the Nightmare cast time. So he'll often get it off before you can even see him. But if you're a master of timing, or you see the axe coming with some sort of ward, you can dodge it that way. One of my favorite spells to dodge is X Marks the Spot. It is really cool because you can easily save yourself from a deadly combo, just by Nightmaring at the right time. You can achieve this same effect, keep in mind, with Yule's Scepter of Divinity. Right here. And you might think, well, he's not always going to let the ability run out to the max duration if you're playing against a Kunkka, so you can't always time it perfectly with Nightmare. Well, the trick is, you actually can always time it perfectly. And that's because of Torrent. Whenever you see the Kunkka cast Torrent with his Torrent animation, that means he's about to pull you back with X marks. So if you Nightmare yourself at the right time, then he has a choice. He has to either pull you back early and you just stay where you are, or he has to pull you back late and you don't get stunned by Torrent. And this makes this spell and this particular interaction very, very powerful. as you can see. And my final, and probably the most powerful effect that you can achieve with this, is Reaper's Scythe. Now, Reaper's Scythe would normally kill this anti-mage very, very, very quickly, even though he does have Spell Shield. But, because of the way Reaper's Scythe works, you have a 1.5 second stun before the effect is actually applied. And this works really well, because Nightmare's cast time is 0.4 seconds, and Nightmare's invincibility duration is 1 full second. So that means you have 1.4 seconds, effectively, of minimum reaction time. So if you react perfectly on the Reaper's Scythe, then it will hit. But if you're, say, 100 milliseconds late, which, you know, most humans would be, you would actually be able to perfectly hit it almost every time. And as long as you're anywhere in that 1 second initial time, so say I'm all the way over here and I have to hit it, as long as I'm in that 1 second initial time, here, let me put this heart in his backpack. As long as you're in that 1 second initial time, you can actually have a guaranteed chance of hitting it, basically, as long as your reaction time is good enough. So what I'll do is I'll Reaper Scythe. I see the Reaper Scythe, and then I Nightmare him. Even if my reaction isn't perfect and I'm far away, I can get it every single time. One thing that could make this a little bit difficult is if you're playing with a tiny. Oh wait, that's Necrobook. Item. Tome. One thing that could make this difficult, as I said, just to reiterate, is if you're playing with a tiny. So what happens is tiny actually has status resistance, and that causes the stun duration of Reaper's Scythe to be shortened. Which means it's a lot harder to react. But still possible. And that is my favorite ability in the game. And that's not the entire ability. There's hundreds of other interactions you can do with this ability. You can dodge any number of spells that you want to. For example, let's just go off with a few. You can dodge Alchemist's Unstable Concoction, Wraith King's Stun. You can dodge Ravage from Tidehunter. You can dodge Fire Spirits from Phoenix. You can dodge Nets from Meepo. You can dodge... You could use it to become invincible on two different aspects. You could use it against Arc Warden's Wraith Spirits, and you could use it against Techie's Remote Mines. Keep in mind, you cannot use this against Techie's Proximity Mines. What will happen is the Proximity Mines will, once you become invulnerable, they will no longer detect you, and their detection time will reset, so they won't explode until you become uninvincible again. You could use this to just cancel the reset time, and then when you become uninvincible, you can hit them, but it's kind of a waste of mana. You can use this to dodge not only on yourself, but also on your teammates. You can use this to dodge Homing Missile, and you can use it to dodge the damage from Call Down. You can use this to dodge Assassinate, which is extremely, extremely powerful. You can use this to dodge Razor's Plasma Field. You can use it to... You can't use it to dodge Eclipse, because Eclipse is instant, and what will happen is if Luna... This makes Luna pretty good against Bane. If you become invulnerable while Luna is trying to cast Lucent Beam, then she'll actually stop casting it, as you can see. So it will not work against Luna. I'm actually not sure what happens with the ultimate. Let's see.
Head for the quarry.
Say goodnight.
Does not work against the ultimate either. So Luna, pretty decent counter to Bane.
Let's go.
And let's go through a couple more that you can use it to dodge. You can dodge Elder Titan's ultimate. That's extremely powerful. You can use it to save a teammate who's being dueled, because what will happen will actually be pretty funny.
Rolling out.
If they're being dueled, and then you Nightmare them, then they'll just constantly cancel their attacks. Really, really funny. Makes Bane pretty good against Legion. As I said, you can dodge all of Kunkka's spells with it. Makes it extremely, extremely powerful against Kunkka. I almost always love choosing Bane against Kunkka. You can use it to save a teammate from Chaos Knight, because what will happen is if Chaos Knight jumps on them and then you Nightmare them, first of all, you have a chance to dodge Chaos Knight's Chaos Bolt, but second of all, you'll cancel all of Chaos Knight and his illusions auto attacks, and he has no way to proc it without Chaos Bolt. So he has no way to get rid of the Nightmare without sleeping himself or one of his illusions. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good against most auto-attacking heroes. And let's finish it off with a couple strong ones. You can use it to save yourself against Chakram. You can use it to save yourself against Timber Chain. Snowball. Snowball is extremely easy to dodge with this. You can use it to save a teammate from Fatal Bod's damage. One of the powerful ones is Silencer's Last Word. If a teammate's about to die, just hit him right before it pops, and it will save your teammate's life. You can use it to dodge. Let's do one final really powerful one. Let's look. Where's a fun one? Oh, good one. Spectre's illusions during Haunt will not auto-attack your teammate, so you can put Nightmare on your teammate, and then it will save your teammate from Haunt. And let's do one final easy one. You could use it to dodge really easily Tinker's Homing Missiles, or for another example, Skywrath Mage, Concussive Blast, or Arcane Bolt. Just all sorts of really slow projectiles that are easy to cancel. I think Bane, #1 counters, Kunkka, Necrophos. He's really good against those. And otherwise, he's really good against really weak heroes, or supports that don't have a disable. So, for example, like, if you're playing against a Warlock, his only disable is his ultimate. So if he's already cast Warlock Golem, you can just Fiend's Grip whoever you want on the map. Same thing with Ancient Apparition. He can Cold Feet you, but you're still going to get your whole 5 seconds off of Fiend's Grip. It's 12 seconds because I have the level 25 talent. But really good heroes to play against. It's pretty much all the supports who don't have a stun. There's a few more. Like Disruptor has 2 stuns, so it doesn't really work against him. I guess Phoenix is a good one. You can Fiend's Grip anyone in the fight, and Phoenix has to either use ult or just, give up and cry. So, really powerful hero, and my favorite ability in the game. Extremely powerful ability. So much fun to play against the Kunkka and just perfectly time that and save someone's life. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy, and hope you go on to do wonderful things with Bane.